Hello students of first MSc Chemistry. In the previous class, we saw the orientation and reactivity of aromatic compounds in aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction. There we saw three categories of substituents. First category is substituents which are strongly activating and orthopara directing. We saw the substituents, substituents like O minus, tertiary amines, quaternary tertiary amines NR2, secondary amines, amino groups, phenols, OH groups, OR alkoxy groups, NHCOR group, OCOR group, thiol group and halogens. They are all strongly activating and orthoparadirecting. And we saw the second category of substituents. Here, the substituents which are not having a lone pair of electrons. Substituents which are having a lone pair of electrons are strongly activating and orthoparadirecting. The second category is substituents which are not having a group of electrons, lone pair of electrons, and the substituents are offering electron withdrawing inductive effect. Such substituents are deactivating and meta-directing. We saw the reasons why they are deactivating and meta-directing. The substituents are a quaternary ammonium ion because of the positive charge. Nitrogen is not having the lone pair of electrons. A nitro group, a cyano group, a thiol group, sulfonic acid group, CHO group, COR, COOR esters are deactivating, amides, CONH2, etc. So these are some of the deactivating groups and meta-directing. And we have the third category of substituents. Here, substituents are not having any pair of electrons. At the same time, they are not deactivating, they are mildly activating and ortho or para directing. So in this category, we have our alkyl groups. So all the alkyl substituents, they are alkyl groups, aryl groups, carboxylate ions, COO minus groups. So they are all mildly activating on the ortho or para directing. Now, let us continue our discussion in this orientation and reactivity. Almost we have finished the orientation and reactivity. Anyhow, we have to learn a few terminology or a few terms connected with the orientation and reactivity. We must know what is the meaning of ortho-para ratio. What is meant by ortho to para ratio? See, we saw that a sigma complex or valent intermediate is obtained. Let us imagine the electronic structure of the arenium ion. Suppose if this is the arenium ion, HH, then the positive charge is delocalized only on the 5 carbons. Let us look at the electron density on each carbon 0.25, this is 0.25, 0.30, 0.10, 0.10. So if you look at the electron density, this is the model proposed for the rhenium ion. See, from this, it is very clear that nearly 67% of ortho product can be obtained. And the chances for getting para product is 33%. 33% para product. So, if the substituent is ortho para directing, then the ratio of the formation of ortho to para product is called as the ortho para ratio. It is studied and it is reported. When you have a substituent in the aromatic ring, if the aromatic ring is monosubstituted, what is the nature of the substituent? What is the ability of the substituent? Whether it is ortho directing, para directing, or meta directing. We know that if it is mildly activating or if it is strongly activating, ortho and para substituted product is obtained. If it is deactivating, then the meta product is obtained. So if the substituent is mildly activating, then which one is obtained as a product, whether the ortho product or the para product? This ratio is called as ortho para ratio. From the electronic picture, it is very clear that we may get 67% of ortho product and 33% of para product. If you refer Advanced Organic Chemistry, Jerry March, then several examples are given. See, if you carry out the chlorination of toluene, what is the structure of toluene? This one. So toluene has a methyl substituent. Benzene ring with a methyl substituent is your toluene. Suppose if it is chlorinated, how can you carry out the chlorination? Chlorination in presence of Lewis acid catalyst. Chlorination in presence of Lewis acid catalyst, chlorine FeCl3. So in such cases, in this reaction, we are getting two products. The orthochlorotoluene and parachlorotoluene. This is your orthochlorotoluene and parachlorotoluene is this one. Now which one is obtained as a major product? According to this electronic picture, nearly we get the ortho and para products in the ratio say 62:38 to 34:66. So 67% ortho and 33% para products are obtained. So this is the range. Depending on the reaction conditions, statistically it is calculated. So 62:32 to 34:66. In this ratio only we are getting. So this ratio is called as ortho to para ratio. So if the compound is ortho or para directing, which product is obtained to a major extent? Either it is ortho product or para product. That is given by the ortho para ratio, and one example is your toluene. Toluene gives you major amount of orthochlorotoluene. The reason is the chances for getting ortho product is more. We have two ortho positions, whereas only one para position. And there are other examples also given. You can go through them. So One example is sometimes the steric effect is operating. For example, nitration of toluene. If toluene is nitrated with HNO3 and H2SO4, we get the ortho and para products. Ortho and para nitrotoluene. Ortho product is more. Whereas the same compound, suppose if it is ortho product is more, if the same compound is nitrated, for example, if the same nitration is carried out with the tertiary butyl benzene, see, tertiary butyl group, instead of methyl group, you have a tertiary butyl group. If the same nitration is carried out, then the para product is, ortho product is minor and para product is the major product. So, depending on the condition, the formation of ortho or para product varies. See, here you have toluene. Toluene is having a methyl substituent. If it undergoes halogenation, it gives you ortho or para-chloro products. Para-chlorotoluene. The chances of getting ortho-chlorotoluene is more because we have two ortho positions according to the electronic picture of the molecule. Toluene, when it is nitrated with sulfuric acid, more of ortho product is obtained when compared to the para product. But if the same methyl group is replaced by tertiary butyl benzene, a tertiary butyl group is also mildly ortho or para directing, but it is a bulky substituent, so the ortho positions are not preferred, but the para positions are preferred. So ortho product is obtained to a minor extent and we get the para product as the major product. So these are some of the observations that are recorded or statistics that is given in Advanced Organic Chemistry by Jerry March. Based on these interpretive questions can be asked, and if you sit in for any competitive examination like CSE or UGC, some A part questions, 1 mark questions can be asked from this area. So even if you prepare for any competitive examination, you cannot neglect such minute things. So you must know what is meant by ortho to para ratio, ortho-para ratio. So the ortho-para ratio explains you the ratio of the products that is obtained. Either ortho product is obtained as a major product or para product is obtained as a major product. Now let us think about another important term, namely ipso attack. See, you must know what is meant by ipso attack. We discussed the aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction first with simple benzene molecule. And we moved further. If the benzene is monosubstituted, then what happens? We saw the formation of 3 different products if the benzene is monosubstituted, ortho, meta and para. See, in all these cases, we have seen that the electrophile is attacking the ortho position, meta position or para position, where the carbon is attached to a hydrogen only. Suppose if the substituent is having, see, Y is the substituent and X plus is the electrophile, it can attack any of the 5 hydrogens, the remaining 5 hydrogens. See, carbon bearing the hydrogens. Any of the carbon that is bearing the hydrogens and not Y. This is what we have discussed. See, the probability of attack on a carbon bearing a hydrogen is more for the ortho positions, for the meta positions and para positions. Of course, the chances may vary. We have 2 equivalent ortho positions, 2 equivalent meta positions and 1 para positions. Some people thought of when these carbons bearing a hydrogen are attacked, why not this carbon that is bearing the substituent itself? Why X plus can or cannot attack the carbon that is bearing the substituent? So we have case. What happens when the carbon bearing the substituent itself is attacked? Why? We have hydrogens here, 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 here. The 5 carbons are not attacked. The electrophile attacks the carbon bearing the substituent. This attack is called as the ipso attack. So what is this ipso attack? In aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction, the carbon bearing the substituent is attacked by the electrophile. If such an attack takes place, then the attack is called as the ipso attack. So just like the attack of electrophile over the carbon having attached to a hydrogen, here you get a sigma complex or valent intermediate. You also get a sigma complex or valent intermediate when X plus is attacking the carbon bearing the substituent or when the ipso attack is taking place. Now, what are the possibilities or what happens if such an ipso attack is taking place? See, this is explained by the intermediate that is formed by the ipso attack. First, let us imagine the intermediate that is obtained by the attack of the substituent bearing carbon. See, we have the intermediate Y is the intermediate according to our naming system or nomenclature. I have chosen Y. In the book, you will have Z. Suppose if NO2 plus is the electrophile, NO2 plus attacks here, then the intermediate is this one. This is the intermediate that is obtained, sigma complex or valent intermediate, when NO2 plus the electrophile attacks at the carbon bearing the substituent. So this is the ipso attack. What happens? One possibility is the NO2 plus may go back or it may be thrown out. So this may be a reversible reaction, and as a result you may get your unsubstituted product. That is, Y is not replaced because it seems to be an equilibrium reaction. You may get an intermediate, once again the NO2 plus may thrown out. This is one possibility. Another possibility is Y may be thrown out. If Y is thrown out, then you are getting a product that is nitro-substituted compound. This is also a possibility. Y is thrown out, minus Y plus. Y is thrown out in the form of Y plus electrophile. That carries a positive charge. That may not be attacking it, that is thrown out. So this is possibility, minus Y plus. Y plus is thrown out. Apart from these, there are a few more possibilities. See, this intermediate can show a migration. The NO2 carbon in this NO2 group in this carbon may migrate to this one. If this migration takes place, then you are having an intermediate like this. If this loses a proton, then you are getting an ortho-substituted compound, YNO2. This is a possibility. You get an ortho-substituted compound. So this is a possibility. Another possibility is instead of the migration by NO2 group, another possibility is Y can migrate. See, NO2 remains here, Y migrates to the next carbon, and if H is lost, then you are getting the product, namely this one. See, if you give the number like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the correct way because we substitute the groups here. So this is 2 nitro Y substituted compound, 2 nitro compound. Whereas this is also 2 nitro compound, but the position is different. If you carry out the C13 isotopic studies, then you can easily confirm. Suppose if you carry out the reaction with C13 in this position, then the Y is not found here. See, C13. It is confirmed by C13 only. The ipso attack is confirmed by C13 NMR spectroscopy only. So if you carry out the compound having the substituted Y attached to a carbon which is C13, then in some of the products, Y is not found in the carbon which is having the C13 label. So from that it is clear that there is a possibility of migration of Y. When there is a possibility of migration of the NO2 group, there is also a equal possibility of migration of Y. So this is the product. This may be the product that is obtained. So there is another possibility that a third electrophile may also attack. So if this attacks, we may get a product like this one. The second electrophile, it can also attack. Sorry, a nucleophile can attack. Y minus, here it is Z minus. Z minus can attack. If Z minus attacks, then we may get a product like this. Y, NO2, HY, Y. So this may give other reactions. It may give other reactions. So this is the fate of the intermediate that is obtained by the ipso attack. First of all, it is my duty to explain you what is meant by ipso attack. I have explained you. See, when the aromatic compound is monosubstituted, the 5 remaining carbons which are not substituted can be attacked by the electrophile in aromatic electrophilic substitution. People started imagining, why not the carbon bearing the substituent? If that is attacked by the electrophile, then what happens? One example is you have a monosubstituted benzene. If this is attacked by a electrophile nitro, this is the intermediate that is obtained. The intermediate has several possibilities to undergo the product formation. One is it can lose the NO2 group, electrophile itself, it can get back, that is a reversible reaction. Another possibility is instead of losing NO2 group, you may lose Y plus group, minus Y plus. So you get nitro compound. That is also obtained as a product. Y is thrown out. Electrophilic substitution only, but Y is thrown out. Instead of a proton, Y is thrown out. But in the general mechanism and in the orientation reactivity, we all discussed about the H plus as a leaving group. Why not Y plus as a leaving group if ipso attack is taking place? So it gives you this intermediate. That is also a possibility. There is another possibility. The intermediate obtained by the ipso attack can show migration. If the NO2 group migrates and if a proton is lost, this is the product, ortho substituted product. If the Y plus group is migrating, if Y is migrating instead of NO2 group, then this is also a possibility. See, it gives the same product if you give the position wise. if you give the position wise number, then both are the same product, but the difference is felt in C13 studies. If this carbon is having a C13 isotope, then the nitro group is found over the C13 group and Y is not attached to the C13 in the product. The reason is Y is migrating. Instead of NO2 group, Y is migrating. It is clearly proved. And this is the evidence for the ipso attack. Another possibility is Z minus a nucleophile can attack over this intermediate and you may get a intermediate like this. This can lead to other reaction or other products. So we have a possible other reactions. See, you can extend the same idea further. For example, suppose if the benzene ring is substituted with more than one substituent. So, what happens to the orientation and reactivity? See, benzene, it has a monosubstituent Y. If it is again substituted with the X, there is a possibility. X can be either in the ortho position or in the para position. So, we have three different types of isomers where Y is ortho substituted X. The compound substituted, aromatic compound is substituted with Y and X. You have the ortho isomer. Another one is the meta isomer. And another one is the para isomer. Now the question is, if such a compound is undergoing electrophilic substitution further, if this is undergoing electrophilic substitution, say, let me replace it by Z. Why Z? Suppose if it is undergoing electrophilic substitution with X plus, what is the entry point for the X plus? Whether the X plus goes to this carbon, that is ortho to Z and meta to Y, whether the X plus goes to meta to Z or para to Y, or whether this will go to this position, ortho to Y and meta to Z, or this position, para to Z and meta to Y. So, you have a more complicated system or a complicated situation. See, in these circumstances, that is when we have more than one substituent in the aromatic ring, then some generalizations are made in aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction. See, you compare the strength of the substituents that are present in the aromatic ring. What about them? Suppose if one is strongly activating, suppose let us assume that Y is strongly activating and Z is a weak substituent. It's not strongly activating when compared to Y. It may be mildly activating or meta-directly deactivating, whatever it may be. Z is weak when compared to strongly activating. In such a situation, what is a strongly activating group? We saw already. Groups with a lone pair of electrons. They are strongly activating and ortho-para-directing because they are able to produce a fourth resonance structure. So when we have such strongly activating substituents, then in addition to the weak substituent Z, then the substituent Y dominates and we are getting the ortho or para products with respect to Y. So the strongly activating group dominates and we have a preference for these groups. For example, I can explain this one with one example. Orthocresol. What is orthocresol? Toluene, C6H5CH3. Toluene. So this is your toluene. Suppose if you have a OH group, phenol, methylphenol, orthomethylphenol is orthocresol. We have different isomers, metacresol, paracresol, depending on the position of the methyl and OH group. See, this is your orthocresol. You have the orthohydroxy group with respect to the methyl group, or methyl group is ortho to phenol, phenolic OH group. So this is your orthocresol. Here the OH group is strongly activating because it has a lone pair of electrons, two lone pairs of electrons. So it is strongly activating when compared to methyl group. It is methyl group is mildly activating. So suppose if it undergoes aromatic electrophilic substitution, then you are getting ortho or para products with respect to the hydroxyl group only, not with respect to the methyl group. So this is the first observation made. When you have a strongly activating group, and if the other group is mildly activating or deactivating, then the activating group, strongly activating group dominates. So you are getting ortho or para products with respect to the strongly activating group. This is the first observation that is made, and we have the groups that are arranged in the order. Say a NH2 group is strongly activating in the presence of other substituents. In the presence of other substituents, a NH2 group, if it is present in the aromatic ring, you will get a ortho or product with respect to the NH2 group and not with any other group. So it is the first member. And you have the OH group, you have the tertiary amine group, NR3 group, phenoxide ions, O minus group, OR group, OCOR group, NHCOR group, and alkyl groups, aryl groups, and halogens. So this is the order, and at last you have the meta-directing groups. Meta-directing groups are very least in their dominating ability. So we need not worry about the meta-directing groups. So if you have a strongly activating group, then ortho or para products are obtained with respect to the strongly activating group, whatever may be the other group that is present in the organic molecule. See, suppose if the two substituents are equal in their power, then this is the second observation. The third group will not enter between the two groups. That is, it may not enter in the meta position. So that is the second observation. If the two groups are equally weak or equally strong, then the third group will not enter into the meta position. And another one is, suppose if you have a meta-directing group, which is ortho, which is meta to an ortho para directing group. See, do you understand the condition? Suppose if you have a meta directing group which is meta to an ortho para directing group. For example, let us consider a simple compound. Metachloronitrobenzene. Metachloronitrobenzene. So if I give the number, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 chloro, 3 nitrobenzene. Suppose if this is chlorinated, see, nitro group is meta-daring. See, the group is meta-directing. You have a meta-directing group, nitro group, meta to chlorine, which is ortho or para-directing group. So, now what happens? If a chlorine enters into such a disubstituted compound, what will be its orientation? In which position it will enter? See, the most probability is this one. That is, you will have chlorine in this position. That is, the chlorine will enter ortho to the nitro group, not this position. Okay? So, there is another possibility that this may also obtained as a product. Chlorine. So, this may be obtained as a product. This may be obtained as a product. This is ortho position. Which one is obtained? You get a chlorine which is ortho to the nitro group. So, this one is obtained as a major product. See, when a meta-directing group is meta to an ortho-para-directing group, you get an ortho product, ortho substituted compound. So, this one is obtained as a major product and this is obtained to a lesser extent. So, the formation of this ortho product is called as ortho effect. This effect is called as ortho effect. So, what is meant by ortho effect? Ortho effect is observed when you have a meta-directing group which is meta to an ortho-para-directing group. The reason is not clearly explained, but some people say, some papers, research papers say that the intermediate that is obtained by this one is stabilized more. If the electrophile attacks in this position, then it is stabilized by the meta-directing nitro group. That is the reason given. So, this effect, that is formation of a ortho product when a meta-directing group which is meta to an ortho-para-directing group is called as ortho effect. This is observed in aromatic electrophilic substitution. You can raise a question, why not this position, that is ortho to the chlorine? See, this is also a possibility. Chlorine is meta to the nitro group which is meta-directing. So, here the chlorine can enter in this place, but this product is not at all obtained. This one is not at all obtained. A ortho dichloro compound is not at all obtained when a meta-directing group is meta to the chlorine. Chlorine is ortho-para-directing. It is activating halogen, it is activating, mildly activating. But when you have a nitro group which is meta-directing, the ortho effect is observed. And among the two, this one is obtained as a major product. And already we have seen the second rule, that is, if you have two or more groups, then the incoming group will not enter a position that is in between the two substituents. So, this intermediate, formation of this intermediate is also ruled out, and this one is obtained as a major product, and this effect is called as the ortho effect. So, you must remember the two important things in the orientation and reactivity. One is your ipso attack. See, you must know what is meant by the ipso attack. We saw ipso attack as this one. See, when the carbon bearing the substituent is attacked by X plus, The attack is called as the ipso attack. And here in this case, we saw the fate of the intermediate. See, this is the intermediate that is obtained by the attack of the electrophile at the carbon bearing the substituent. We saw the fate, I have explained you, and we moved to the other aspect of aromatic electrophilic substitution. Suppose if we have two substituents in the aromatic ring, then which group is predominating? First point that we have discussed is, suppose if we have a ortho-para-directing group and strongly activating, then such groups will dominate whatever may be the other group, and the order of strength of the substituent is this one: NH2, OH, tertiary amine group, O minus, OR group. So this is the order. And the second point is, suppose if we have two substituents which are weak, then the third group will not enter between the two substituents. That will not enter a position that is between the two substituents. And the third observation is, suppose if we have a meta-directing group which is meta to an ortho-para-directing group, then the ortho product like this one is obtained. This is the major product. You will not get a ortho product like this one, a chlorine which is ortho to the chlorine. And this will become the para to nitro compound, nitro group. So such an intermediate is not obtained, and you get a chlorine which is ortho to the nitro group. This one is obtained as a major product, and this effect is called as the ortho effect. Of course, there is no clear-cut explanation for the formation of ortho effect. Of course, some people say that if the electrophile attacks in this position, then it is stabilized by the intermediate is stabilized when compared to this one. That is the explanation given for the ortho effect. So you must know what is meant by ortho effect. That is formation of ortho substituted compound when you have two or more substituents in the aromatic ring. So this is called as ortho effect. So you may remember this ortho effect. You have to remember when you think about the synthesis of poly, 2 or 3 tri or di or tri substituted aromatic compounds using aromatic electrophilic substitution reactions. So let us move to the next step. What about the orientation in other ring systems? You must be familiar. So orientation in other ring systems, that is naphthalene, that is a bicyclic compound. Beyond that we need not go. Suppose if naphthalene is monosubstituted, then what about the orientation and reactivity? So a few aspects are discussed, and the orientation and reactivity in terms of the heterocyclic compounds can also be discussed. Of course, all these things are too heavy. So let us continue the other aspects of aromatic electrophilic substitution reactions. Of course, there is a discussion on the orientation in other ring systems in Advanced Organic Chemistry by Jerry March. If you want, you can read. Just go through it. Rarely we don't ask questions, or we don't find any questions in the end semester examination or in the semester examination from this area. Of course, you can, from the knowledge point of view, you can give a reading. See, now let us see the other aspects of aromatic electrophilic substitution reactions. If you refer the syllabus, then the name reactions are given. We saw what is meant by how nitration takes place, how sulfonation takes place, how halogenation takes place with Lewis acids over aromatic compounds. And we saw the significance of Friedel-Crafts alkylation and acylation reaction, how the Fuller-Crafts alkylation reaction can be carried out and acylation can be carried out. So if alkylation is carried out, then what are the limitations we saw? After this, we saw how Fuller-Crafts alkylation reactions are employed and how Fuller-Crafts acylation is helpful in overcoming the difficulties with the Fuller-Crafts alkylation reaction. That is, you cannot avoid rearrangement in alkylation reaction. But the acyl cation is not undergoing rearrangement, so you can carry out the acylation reaction and you can reduce the CO group to get your alkylated product. The end product is the alkylation, but it is carried out through acylation and followed by reduction. That is also a possibility. And we have a few more reactions that is to be discussed in aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction. See, the formation of diazonium salts. In the test for phenols and anilines in our organic analysis, what do? You might have done this in your BSc practical itself. You carry out the dye test. How do you carry out the dye test? See, dyes are prepared actually. Dyes which are colored compounds are prepared. What are dyes? They contain the azo group, N double bond N group. Azo group. That is the reason for the color. Depending on the structural modification, the color of the dye varies, but primarily you should have the azo group, that is the chromophore, responsible for the color. How can you prepare the dye? See, the formation of the dye leads to the conformation of phenols and anilines. What we do for the conformation of anilines, see, let us take aniline. When this is treated with the diazonium salt, NaNO2 and HCl, you get sodium nitrite and HCl, you get the diazonium salt, N2 plus Cl minus. So this is your diazonium salt that is obtained. So the diazonium salt is prepared by the reaction between aniline and sodium nitrate in HCl under cold condition. Now if this diazonium salt is N2 plus Cl minus, if it is treated with any activated compound, any phenol, so it gives you the dye, para-substituted dye, para-substituted phenol. So this is the dye that is obtained. For having a bright color of the dye, what we take is beta-naphthol. Beta-naphthol, that it, because of the naphthalene group present in it, it is a slightly brown color compound, or alpha-naphthol, that is pink, dark, or we can say dark brown in color. So they are naturally colored compound. If they are also substituted, the color further increases. So you get a colored dye. So whether it is beta-naphthol, alpha-naphthol or phenol, it is an activated compound. And this is a aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction, formation of dyes. Reactions of diazonium salts. This is a aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction. This one acts as the electrophile, N2 plus. That one acts as the electrophile to give you the dye. So, the formation of diazonium salts are reactions of the diazonium ions, that is a aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction. Using that reaction only, we are confirming the presence of anilines as well as the phenols. How will you confirm the presence of phenols? Simple. You will take the compound which is unknown. It may be a phenol. If it is a phenol, then you take aniline, diazotize it. If you couple it with the phenol, you will get a colored dye. So that shows the presence of phenol. Suppose if you suspect the compound is to be aniline, a amino compound, you diazotize the amino compound, and if it is coupled with any phenolic compound or any activated compound, you will get a dye. The phenolic compound or activated compound may be phenol, alpha naphthol or beta naphthol. You will get a beautiful dye. So, the formation of diazonium salt and its reaction to give you a dye is an example of aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction. So, reactions of diazonium salt leading to the formation of the dyes with aromatic compounds is a aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction. Please remember. The mechanism is very similar. So you can refer Jerry March for this reaction. And already we have discussed the chlorination, halogenation, Friedel-Crafts alkylation, acylation, nitration, sulfonation, all these reactions. Now, in addition to these reactions, we have to discuss a few more reactions. That is, formylation reactions. What is meant by formylation reaction? Formation of a formyl group. What is a formyl group? HCH double bond O. So this is your formyl group. See how this can be formed in an aromatic compound. If this is formed in an aromatic compound, then this is your benzaldehyde. So how the formylation reaction can be carried out? How benzene can be converted into benzaldehyde? Conversion of benzene to benzaldehyde is your formylation reaction. And just like this formylation reaction, we have other reactions of other methods of formylation also. That is, formylation can be done with carbon monoxide and hydrochloric acid. How carbon monoxide and hydrochloric acid are used for the formylation reaction? We have zinc cyanide and HCl that can also be used for the formylation reaction. And we have NN disubstituted formamides. NN disubstituted formamides. That reaction is called as Willsmeier-Heck reaction. So if you go to your syllabus, then you have the Willsmeier-Heck reaction, Gattermann-Gotz reaction, Gattermann reaction, and very important reaction is your Reimer-Tiemann reaction. How Reimer-Tiemann reaction leads to the formation of the formylation. The reagent used is your chloroform and potassium hydroxide. See, chloroform and potassium hydroxide are under alkali conditions. And the reactions are very important. The formylation reactions are very important if you use chloroform over some heterocyclic compounds also. So, these are some of the formylation reactions. We have to discuss about the formylation reactions which are very important. So, in the next lecture, I will explain what is meant by the Wills-Meyer-Hague reaction, Gattermann reaction, Gattermann-Goltz reaction. So in my next lecture, I will explain these reactions and Reimer-Tiemann reaction in my next class. So today we saw the other aspects of orientation and reactivity in aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction. We saw what is meant by ipso attack, what is meant by ortho effect, and we saw the orientation reactivity if the benzene ring is substituted with two substituents. And after that we discussed a few reactions, namely reactions of diazonium salt, and we have to discuss the formylation reactions. We have some 3 or 4 formylation reactions. Of course, we are not going to discuss much about the mechanism. That is not necessary. Just if you know what are those reactions, then it is very important, and we shall move to the other aspects of aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction according to your syllabus. Let us meet in the next class.